the friend that is standing there. I'll be the hand holding all your cares. I see you now, I'm not going anywhere. We'll find our way back home. We'll find our way back home. No, we'll never have to walk alone. We'll find our way back home.
I'm getting out of my comfort zone to learn what I can about cooking and baking from some of the most trusted people in our lives, grandmas. What warms my heart is hearing their stories of why the recipes are the family's favorite, and tasting them, of course. On this episode, meet Denise, a fun young grandma who shares one of her favorite Brazilian treats with us. In fact, the treats are loved by so many that at Brazilian weddings, they have someone who guards them. Welcome back to another episode of Grandma's Goodies with Jacqueline. And right now, today, I have a really special guest. Although all my guests are special, but today I have a Brazilian guest and her name is Denise Wolf. So Denise, thank you so much for being on our show. Doesn't she look great for being a grandma? That's what I thought. When I first saw her, I'm like, she's a grandma? Oh my goodness, you're a young grandma. Tell me how many grandchildren you have.
I have two little ones.
Oh, and how old are they?
Ellie is 3 and Brixton is 1.
Oh, I have grandchildren too.
Nice.
Yeah, I have 3,
right.
almost 4.
Ooh.
And they're all under 2.
Oh my goodness.
I
Busy
know!
house.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes.
Well, what I love about the recipe that you're going to share with us is it is great for little ones.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
no,
Well, it depends. You
Well,
want to give them away to their parents
right?
afterwards?
That's exactly what we want to do. We want to just give these nice little treats to them, and then we want to wave them goodbye and say, hey, enjoy your kids. My mom always used to say that when I had my little ones. She would say, I'm going to bed, so enjoy your little ones. I know, she was crazy, wasn't she? Well, anyway, Denise, let's get started because I think this is a really great recipe.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Brazilian because that is your background. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
So we're going to have coffee in just a few minutes, and we're going to talk about your background and what brought you to Okotoks. But let's dive right in so that we can start eating.
Okay.
So what do we have to do?
All right, so really simple things. Brazilians always have condensed milk.
Yes, it's a staple, right?
When we moved to Canada quite a few years ago, we could never find condensed milk. And if we could, it's super expensive.
Ooh.
So that became our special tradition. Once a year, we could have what we call brigadeiro. And that's the correct way of saying. Canadians will say brigadeiro, or my son-in-law sometimes can even say that. That's okay. That's a different story.
Brigadeiro. Yeah.
Say it again.
Brigadeiro.
Good job. Proud of you.
She's nice.
Yeah, so we're going to start with a can of condensed milk.
Okay.
It's your choice, whatever you use at home, totally fine. You will need chocolate, what do you call these again?
Sprinkles?
Sprinkles,
Sure.
perfect. We'll go with that. Or you can choose some colorful ones too.
Nice.
This is chocolate powder. You can also use cocoa powder if you want.
Ooh,
There is
I
a
love
difference
that.
in taste. You're going to try both.
Okay.
And we're going to need a little bit of butter. That's all. It's
And that's
super
it?
easy, super simple.
And we have a pot. So,
Yes.
okay, so what are we going to do?
All right, we're gonna put all this in this pot.
The whole thing?
Yes. Oh, you don't know the Brazilians love sugar.
Okay. All right.
So, do you wanna do that?
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm all over pouring.
All right, and then we're gonna put a 1/4 cup.
And do you eyeball it? Because some grandmas
all the
just
time.
eyeball stuff.
Just because we're in front of the camera, I'm passing a recipe. Otherwise, I would just have thrown
That
some
is
in.
hilarious. So I'd like to see you okay, so we have the recipe and you'll see the recipe on the screen. But if we didn't have the recipe, you would just throw it in? Is that what you would do?
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay.
There's not much secret to it, honestly. It's one of those very easy recipes that
Okay.
if you're feeling like you want something fudgy and some sweetness in your mouth, this is a good one to go with.
Okay, so that's a 1/4?
Yes, no, this is a 1/4 cup.
Okay.
Or actually a third cup. It's
A third?
Yes. Okay. And we need just a little bit of butter. So maybe a tablespoon.
A tablespoon? Okay. Cool.
That is it. And that goes in there. And we're
This
gonna mix
is
it.
actually very low fat
And not sweet at all.
and not sweet. It's yeah, it's great for those diets.
You can tell what kind of grandma I am, right?
I know, but I love being that kind of a grandma.
Right?
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna put this on the stove.
That's right.
Okay, so medium heat, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start that. I'll put it on medium heat, and then why don't we just visit for a little bit?
Do you mind if I take it? I only brought one can of.
You only brought one can, so what are you saying exactly?
I wanted to burn my.
Okay, so how about you stir, because you know what's going on.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know what's going on. But you know what? Okay, so tell me a little bit about the background of this recipe. So it's from Brazil.
It is.
And when would you eat this recipe?
You know what? It's so funny because the origin of this
Yeah.
has absolutely nothing to do with why we eat it.
Oh,
It's very common to eat this on kids' birthday party.
yes. It's all got sugar. Who doesn't want sugar on their
As
birthday
if they don't
party,
need any more,
right?
right? Because so brigadeiro, it will be very well known in any kid's birthday party. It's expected to have right beside the cake. They put into these tiny little cups that unfortunately I can't find it in Canada. Sorry.
You can't find any little cups? Wouldn't
They're
that be
kinda like
funny
tin cups,
Oh, really?
but they're very, very tiny.
Okay.
And then you just put the
Well, if
brigadeiro
you
inside.
happen, any of our viewers out there happen to know where you can find these little tin cups, like little tin cups, just write in, because we'd love to hear from you about that. And then Denise can make way more for me. I mean, for her grandkids.
And so that's where you would find like everywhere.
Okay.
But the story of brigadeiro, do you want to know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I
You
actually
wanna
had
know,
to
don't you
Google
wanna know?
it.
You did?
I did, because that information was not passed on to me by my family. So
Oh, okay.
I learned that this recipe was actually started in 1930s. Yes. So it was started by women that had actually 1940s, right before the Second World War. And it was done to promote a politician that was trying to become a Brazilian president.
Really?
I'm not making this up. Isn't it funny? So do you know what brigadeiro means?
No.
It means brigadier. You know, like a major
Yeah.
and sergeant, there's a brigadier.
Okay.
So the guy,
I should have known that.
isn't it something? The
Yeah.
guy was trying to be elected. And so he recruited the women that had just started voting in Brazil. They had their rights in 1934. And they started making these to promote that particular candidate
Really?
to become a Brazilian president.
Hey, our government officials could take a little note of that. Just hand out free candy. I mean, really good candy, though,
Right?
not just cheap candy.
Anyway, so long story short, he was a brigadier, and so they started making these and telling people to vote. That was their marketing in 1940s. Isn't that something?
Wow. That's an amazing marketing strategy. I wonder
Yeah.
if they do that in school. I wonder if they teach that in university now.
I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know, but that's a great idea.
But this sure is taking a long time.
It really is. Should we just up the heat?
Yes, why don't we?
Okay, there. How's that?
Okay, that's beautiful.
Your grandkids are too small to be by the oven,
That's
but
right.
you've taught your children.
Yes.
And they want to teach their kids.
Well,
Is that
they
it?
absolutely love it, right? Because
Wow.
when we moved to Canada, we don't have any family here, so we brought our own.
I'll be your
traditions.
family.
Aw, thank you.
Okay.
And actually, the Clements are my family too.
They
They're so
are.
sweet.
That's so
They
great.
are.
Well, we're Clements too.
Right, there you go.
There you go.
Anyway, so we didn't have any family here, so basically we brought our own traditions and we just start making our own little things. So
Wow. And you have 2 children?
I have 2 daughters.
Okay.
Yeah, and my
Great.
husband here.
Nice.
And then they got married, and now my oldest daughter has 2 grandkids. I mean, 2
Wow.
kids. So yeah.
So, is there a stirring technique?
Not really. So basically, you do need to make sure that you cover the whole bottom of the pan because you don't want any burns because burnt chocolate does not taste good at all.
No,
right?
it doesn't. I have done that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not
it doesn't
great.
smell good either.
No,
So
it doesn't.
So this is the part where you actually have to pay quite a bit of attention just to make sure that you don't boil and don't boil over.
Okay, because I was looking, because it is boiling quite a bit.
It is, yes.
Oh my goodness, it is so chocolate, and it is, you can smell the sweetness from it.
Yes.
The condensed milk, if you have never had condensed milk, you are missing out. It is great in a coffee, it's great for this, it's great for baking, and some people, they just eat it like right out of the can. I don't do that.
Yes, very true. And so the tricky part here, it would be when it starts to come out. You notice that?
Yep.
So we're almost done. So you could use this as a filling in a cake if you want.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you leave it a little longer, because the idea is for us to actually roll this into tiny little balls that I'll show you later.
Great. So I'm just thinking that if I'm going to roll it, it's going to be really hot on my little fingers.
That's right. They will be. So,
so
we'll need them to cool down a little bit.
Okay,
But
great.
we have a beautiful snow.
Wait. We're going to put it in the snow.
Course.
Brilliant.
If you have the choice, why not?
Yeah.
Right? So
Okay, so if you don't have snow and you want to do this in the middle of summer,
right.
So what do you, like, can you just put it in water, like in a basin in water?
And fill it with ice and then just let it cool down a little bit. That is the perfect way of doing it. If you're not patient, like I'm not patient, you can also just grab a spoon and just eat it from the pot.
I know, that's what I was thinking, except I don't want to burn my tongue.
Oh, true enough. That is true.
But
see?
Yeah.
So now it's completely out.
Oh,
Now,
very nice.
I'll let you turn it off if you don't mind.
Great.
Thank you.
So why don't we actually go right outside into the snow and put it right in the snow?
Outside?
Yeah, I have a lot of snow outside. So why don't we just do that?
Okay, I'll follow you.
Okay, great. Okay, so Denise, let's go and find some snow. Like it's going to be hard to find snow.
Yeah, I know, right? Especially
okay, so let's put it, like, let's just put it right here. Do you want me to, like...
No. It'll be fine.
But that's not enough. Like,
no. Oh, there you go. Well, I guess now.
Okay, so we'll just add a little bit of water to it.
That was the secret ingredient, right? Okay, Jacqueline, let's do it.
So is that what we want?
Oh, there you go.
Oh, grandmas can have fun too.
Oh, we sure can.
Okay, so why don't we go in? Because I think that's cooled off, and so are we.
So have we.
Okay, that was really fun. And you're right. I think we are a little bit of trouble together. Oh, I think I still have snow on me.
Yes, you do.
Okay, so part of the recipe is that if you're going to do it in winter, you have to put it in the snow, and you have to do it with a friend so that you can have a snowball fight. Okay, doesn't that just make you feel young?
Right? Yes.
Made me feel young. I haven't had a good snowball fight in forever.
There you go, right?
Oh, I loved it. So thank you.
It was a perfect day for it.
It was. Mm-hmm. It was perfect because you were here.
Aw, you're so sweet.
We made a memory.
All right, so now we have a great temperature to start rolling it. Just see how thick it is.
It's very thick, yes.
Yeah, so that's what you want to have.
Okay, perfect.
Like that thickness.
Okay, so I'm just going to take off my rings because I don't want to get chocolate and stuff into everything.
Okay, we're going to need this.
Okay.
This little plate.
And this is all wet with water, so I'm just going to grab something to wipe it up.
That sounds good. And could I borrow 2 spoons, please?
I only have 1.
Oh, well.
No, I'm just kidding.
Make you do.
Okay, 1 spoon for you.
That's right. Okay. So,
1 for me.
perfect.
Okay. Now, tell me what's next.
Okay, so now we need to butter our hands.
What?
Butter your hands. Trust me. Yes, both of them. There you go.
We're not going to eat that butter, are we?
No, definitely not.
Okay, so
Here, I'll show you why.
Yes, tell our viewers why we want to do that.
Try rolling this.
Oh, okay. See, that is a really great tip. Yes.
Now, I'll let you.
So now I'm putting more butter.
There you go. Now I have to wash my hands, sorry.
Okay, so then just buy like spoonfuls.
That's right. So you can make it as big as you want. I like bite sizes.
Okay, and then we just leave them like that?
Well, you can actually roll it.
Oh, and then
So-
we're gonna roll it like right away.
That's right. So my granddaughter's favorite color is colors will be the colorful sprinkles one.
Yeah,
So-
I like it too.
right?
Yeah.
And so that's the one that she would choose.
And then what?
Well, if we had the little cups, we would put them there and arrange the kids' birthday party table, right? With their cake or cupcakes. And we would put all around the table.
Okay.
But I remember being little and running and just quietly grabbing one and eating it.
Oh,
Because that was the fun of the party, right?
I wouldn't be little when I would be doing that.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
Do you know that at weddings, they actually have to hire somebody to babysit the dessert table?
no, they don't.
They do.
Really?
Yes. I have never seen that in anywhere else, but in Brazil they do.
Well, I wouldn't have done that.
I think that would be pretty rude to go and get.
Okay,
Yes, don't
I'm
you
not exactly sure what you're saying to your guests when you say, security, we have somebody who's touched the brigadeiros over there. I'm like, what are you going to do? How are you going to handle that?
No.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm taking my wedding gift back. I'm like, what? I just didn't even know how you would do that.
Yeah.
You know, Denise, I've had such a great time with you today, and it's been really, really fun to learn more about this. But what I want to know is a little bit more about you.
Okay.
So what brought you to Okotoks?
You know, funny you ask, and I hope it's okay, but it was God that brought us here.
Okay.
So my husband and I always wanted to live in a different country,
Okay.
but we also wanted to learn learning English about God in different culture.
Okay.
So when we were just recently married, we decided to looking for it. And what do you think?
Well, they are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good. No wonder they have to hire security. Okay.
Anyway, so we wanted to come to a place where we felt God was calling us. So we had two places that God had put in our heart. One was Boston, and another one was Canada. So
Wow.
then
Lucky us.
one Sunday, we had been praying and we asked God. We wanted to know where to go. So we read this book, and it was an alumni from Prairie Bible College. Well, now most everybody knows where Three Hills is, and where Prairie Bible College is. And so one of the alumni that wrote a book was Don Richardson. And the next Sunday, we had actually written to the Canadian consulate inquiring about Prairie and Three Hills. And the consulate at that time said, we don't even know where Three Hills is.
Oh my goodness, isn't that amazing?
They didn't know, right? And so the next Sunday, a pastor from Edmonton came over. And we had a very poor English at that time. So we communicated the best we could. We asked about Prairie. And then he said, I'll send you some information by snail mail, right?
Oh yeah.
Remember that time?
I sure
That
do.
was pre-Google.
Yeah. Pre-Google.
Yeah. See how I'm a grandma?
Yes. Pre-cell phones.
Pre-cell phones, exactly. Anyway, so then we came to Canada. We asked about the information. We came to Canada, my husband and I, not knowing what we would find. If we were going to find like polar bears or we didn't know. How's that? I'm working here. You're eating.
I'm trying to even it out.
You're too funny. Yeah, so long story short, 26 years has been since we lived in Canada. So this is home.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you end up in Okotoks though?
Well, you know, living in Brazil, I lived in São Paulo, in a city that has about 20 million people.
Wow, I've
And I
never
said
been there.
million people, right?
That's amazing.
Yes. So then what brought us here was that my husband was in charge of opening a big box store in Okotoks.
No
So
way.
he organized the employees and basically was in charge of that.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, good
Yeah.
for him.
And we had a choice to move to a different city, but I chose to stay in Okotoks. Our daughters had found some really good community here,
Okay.
and so did we. We found our a lovely church, lovely people that became family to us.
Wow.
And Okotoks just got into our hearts as this place to be. So we've been here for 11 years now, and we really don't intend to move away.
Well, I'm glad you moved to Okotoks. Okay, this was a lot of fun.
Yes.
It was a lot of fun, but I'm so ready for coffee.
I see that my side has more than your side. What's the reason why? How many have you eaten?
How about if I tell you over coffee? How about if I tell you over coffee?
I'm counting.
All right, well, why don't we clean up and let's eat some of the... No, I don't need to eat anymore. I'm pretty good. But let's have some coffee, and I want to ask a couple more things about you and your heritage.
Sounds lovely.
Great. Denise, tell me about your background. Tell me about where you grew up and why is this recipe so important to pass on to your children and grandchildren?
So I was born in Brazil.
Okay.
Lived there for 24 years of my life. All my family basically still lives there. So my grandma and grandpa from one side were actually immigrants from Italy.
Oh.
And from my other side were from Spain.
Guess what? I got Spain in me too. Yes,
oh, then
no
you must
wonder.
be quite a hot-blooded one. Imagine me having Italian and Spanish.
No
yeah.
kidding.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, you are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, so I grew up, learning Italian and from one side and Spanish and from my other side. And I had amazing grandparents, and they passed on many cooking recipes to me, and it was always fun. The memories of cooking, it was always something that filled my heart with. Spending time in the kitchen with my grandma, that's where I learned lots about her, and especially on my nonna.
Oh.
I learned lots from her, and it was pretty special. And I passed it out the same thing for my kids. The time in the kitchen is a fun time, right?
Okay.
And that was the best part, just to always do that. And both of them are amazing cooks.
Wow.
Yeah. And so is my husband.
Really? So
Yes.
who does the most cooking in your house? If your husband is amazing as well.
Yeah. Well, I still do, just
Okay.
because he works long hours, and I have a blessing to work from home. My office is at my house.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So I can still do supper every day, but he is the bread baker. Definitely.
Oh, you get fresh bread?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
my goodness, I love
And
fresh
he's
bread.
amazing. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that might be one of my kryptonite things.
Yeah.
Yeah, fresh bread. It's
So
really
during
hard.
COVID, do you think, how many breads did you bake?
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
There was a lot. And I learned how to make sourdough bread,
That's awesome.
which was such a trend in
Yeah.
COVID, right?
Right?
So not like these at all,
That's true.
the sourdough bread. No.
No. Well, this is a very easy recipe. Sourdough is not.
No, it's not. It's a little
Right?
time consuming.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is great. I love this because you can make this with your grandkids.
Right? And they will have fun rolling it.
Oh, and be messy. I mean,
Yes.
I loved being messy, and they will love being messy too.
Yeah, and you can even have a snow.
And you could have like a snowball fight. Could you imagine? That would blow your grandkids' mind, right?
Maybe just cover the pot so we don't get snow in it.
That's right. That's the tip right there.
Right? Yeah.
I saw that you have a really special card.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And so
I
tell
wrote
me
my
about
recipe.
the card.
I wrote my
You're a
recipe,
peach?
actually.
That's so cute. Oh,
Yes.
that's perfect.
So one of my favorite things to do with my girls was coloring. And so Erica developed a passion to do watercolor.
Really?
And she's a local business.
Okay.
Her business is called Young Paper. And so she makes cards and she makes family portraits, drawing with watercolor. Yeah, so she's quite creative. And my other daughter is studying to be a nurse. So that's her passion, is to help people. So, yeah.
Well, and both of them are helping people in different ways, right?
Right.
One is to just
Yeah.
feel better from the inside, and a nurse is at the same too.
That's
from
right.
the inside out.
Yes.
Heal the outside so that the inside feels good.
That's correct, yes.
Well, I think that is amazing. So why don't we have one with our coffee? Because sweet with coffee just seems to go together.
Absolutely, for sure. So I made these actually at home.
Oh.
And I wanted you to try the two different flavor. So remember I told you you have an option to cook with cocoa powder or just chocolate powder.
Right.
So these were made with cocoa powder. And I want you to taste it, and because you will definitely notice how these are not as sweet as the other one that we made it.
Okay, sure.
And you tell me which one is your favorite.
Okay, well, I'm always drawn to color, so I have to go with color. Like, color is just my favorite. It is.
You eat with your eyes first.
You do, right?
Yeah.
Eat with your eyes first. Like, that's got to be the number one thing to eat for. I don't think so, but I love that line.
Can you taste the difference between that one and the other one?
You know, I can. And you're right, it's not as sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I prefer this one more.
Yeah? There you go.
Yeah. Yes, I think I do. Yep, it's just not as sweet, but it will still go great with my coffee. That's good. Yeah. You're not going to have one?
The other one.
You want the other one?
I do. I like the sweeter one. Remember, I'm Brazilian.
Oh, yes, of course. All right, well, let's grab you another one.
Okay.
But before we do that, I just want to say thank you for teaching me about Brazil, about your background, and your children and what brought you here. And I just want to say these are amazing.
And easy to make, right?
And so easy to make. Yeah. And it's such a great craft that you can do with your kids and they can eat it. Okay, that was so great with Denise. So what I loved about this episode was that I got to hear about a Brazilian tradition. So there's something so rich about different cultures. And that's what I love about this show, Grandma's Goodies, because we're not learning just about grandmas and traditions and food, but we're actually learning about different cultures. And to me, that is so rich that we want to be able to pass that on to the next generation. And this is really bothering me. Like, this is sitting there. It's just a small one. It's not even like the other ones. Oh yeah, these are so great and they are so perfect for your children and your grandchildren. Children don't need to use them because, you know, we're grandmas and our children are older. But talking about our grandkids, this would be the best thing ever. You would be the grandma of the year. Just saying. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Grandma's Goodies with Jacqueline.